Good morning and welcome to Real Talk with Tamara. As you guys come into the room, please do hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. I hope that you guys are doing okay. I know that I am. I always express the importance of hitting the like button because the like button helps to keep the video in the algorithm. So make sure you guys please like, share, subscribe, comment, and all of those wonderful things. You guys, I want to talk about 42 Doug. Now, y'all know Mr. N was on the show the other day and he was talking about Blac Youngsta and how Blac Youngsta has quietly been disgruntled about, what Yo Gotti and them did to them. Allegedly, there was monies that was stole. We know that he, according to people that are closest to him, that he had been feeling used in a certain way. And of course, the people that are closest to him know exactly what happened and has not been pleased with that at all. Blac Youngsta, kind of jumped into a beef as Big 30 did with Moneybag, trying to be loyal. Unfortunately, Blac Youngsta um, kind of got in too deep and um, didn't he didn't use his better judgment. Okay, he got into this thing, and I don't think Blac Youngster is gonna be okay when all of this is over. I don't think that he's gonna be okay because he definitely had a hand in this situation as it relates to Young Dolph. If they can't get him in the wash, they'll definitely get him in the rinse. Okay, because there were other things probably that has happened since then. Okay. um uh, Black Youngster kind of put me in the mind of Dirk, whereas I think Youngster knew that they were working to try and connect him, and he didn't stop. Okay, so I like I said, I don't if they don't get him for one thing, I think they'll get him for another. Stop. Anyways, as it relates to Black Youngster, okay, as it relates to Youngster, hush. He was, we was talking about how he has not really been out. Now, people might say that Youngster be out um doing concerts. They just don't advertise it. Well, that's an oxymoron, okay? Because if he is doing concerts or he's, doing shows and bookings and stuff like that, and people don't know that he's doing them, that's an oxymoron. You advertise it so people can come out, so the producers can, not the producers, the promoters can make as much money as they can, and as well as the artist also, right? Nobody's going to book you if nobody shows up. We do know, like, one of the last times that I saw him do a concert by himself, it was shortly after they took Young Dolph out, like in 2021, and he did a diss song in Dallas, and it was about three people there. Okay, now so since then, a lot of things have transpired. I think he's had the opportunity to see that how used he was. This right here makes, when we talk about what Gotti and them did to him, it kind of makes Gotti go back and kind of mess with him a little bit. You know what I mean? Hopefully, he knows. I think he knows what it is at this point. But shout out to Tyler Farrow. Tyler Farrow always messed with Blac Youngster the long way, even before he messed with this is a I didn't mean to pull this up. Even before he messed with got in him like that, okay? He was kind of messing with Blac Youngster, and Blac Youngster could have gone because he always does. Here it is right here. So last night, they were in Nashville. Well, 42 Doug did a show in Nashville, and they said 42 Doug, it was turn up. Okay. Y'all know, like, it's the summertime and the young folks kind of get out and they be heavy. I've been in Nashville. Be quiet. I've been in Nashville, and they just kind of get out downtown, and they're going to saturate the clubs. Okay. because they be looking for some fun. Rather they a fan or not, they're gonna saturate those clubs because they just be looking for fun like that, right? And you see the police and stuff out a lot in Nashville. They're everywhere, and they handles business. Okay, so it ain't really, unfortunately, like my city has turned. Like if they see somebody out, they do a concert instead of them going to look to enjoy the show, they're going to look and see who they think got some. That nigga think he got some. We gonna kill him, and then laugh. He ain't shit just like me. He dead. He can't take care of his kids. And motherfucker, you still ain't shit. Okay, nothing. Right when you get through. Unfortunately, that's the excuse my French guy for that. But I had a anger to come over me. That's the mentality. Be quiet, Rainbow. That is the mentality of the people in my city. Okay. Then I say be quiet. So, anyways, we see Blac Youngsta is on stage. Okay. We see he is on stage. My grandbaby gone home. Now the dogs wants to cut up. If you look at Youngsta, okay, he he, he, I think what I know it takes a little bit for it to come back up. I think a lot of things play into the factor of the situation with Blac Youngster. A lot of guilt, a lot of hurt, and a lot of reaping. Okay, and I hope that he's okay with the end. When the end result ends, because there's always an end result. But I think he's going through all of those phases right now. Him being used, him being hurt, and then the guilt of taking out a man that never did anything to you, being a pawn in a game with helping your guy to take out young Dow so that he could go up. Okay, and then look at what he has basically done to them. Okay, but it was never going to work out anyways because they didn't do that right. And Blac Youngster was really gun-ho and really allowed God to really use him real bad. Okay, and God was not going to allow anything like that to prosper, right? I was looking at, it's funny because as I was on the internet, I didn't know that Taco the Gun had allegedly signed with Yo Gotti. I was just looking at that. I'm pull that back up, but let me finish saying this as it relates to Blac Youngster, okay? And then if I don't forget, because y'all know how I am, I'm forgetful. I'll talk about Taco the Gun. Um, but with Blac Youngster, I was reading some of the people in the comments was there. They said Youngster came out, did his verse, and dipped. Didn't stay a moment longer, nothing like that. He did his verse and he got the hell up out of there. Okay. And I think it's so sad, I'm sure somebody probably called him and told Doug, pull Youngster out or whatever, because Gotti is a fan of the vlogs, especially a fan of my show. Okay. And I hope that he's not trying to um um what's the word, cultivate any fools. Okay, because it's easy for them to do. All they got to do is give them a t-shirt. Okay, to try and do anything to anybody, because I mean he's turned his back on everybody basically. He's turned his back on everybody. Everybody has put their hands in the boiling pot as it relates to a stove that he put the pot on that had nothing to do with them. Okay, they put their fingers in it and has gotten burned. Okay. And I think what's going to happen now, hold on. If you look at Blac Youngsta's spirit is totally, you could tell, totally messed up. But Blac Youngsta has to reap what he sowed. He just has not made good decisions at all. Right. And hey, people dangle stuff and give it to you, but what good is it for a man? And Blac Youngsta knows the Bible. I keep saying this. I grew up around his family, his great aunts and stuff like that. One thing we was gonna do when I spent the night over there, we was going to church every Sunday. Okay, they didn't play. They was some cussers. They cussed like sailors. Okay, but that was fun to be around. We had fun. Um, they watched us girls. You know, they called themselves was strict, but we had so much fun just listening to. I did just listening to them. And this is before Youngster was ever even born. Like I think Tammy had him, in her teenage years, because by the time we became teenagers, I didn't see her anymore. I don't think I seen his mama anymore since she was 12 years old, right? Because she used to always be at Benice's house, but um and then I think she kind of had him pretty early and she became a mother and all of that. And sometimes you can become a product of your environment. The streets kind of suck you in and all of that, unfortunately. But so I know that he knows God was still a big factor as it relates to that family. That's why you always hear him talk about that, because he was raised by his grandmother, a older lady, she may have had some hiccups and some issues, but and still talking about. So that's why you always hear him reference if it I don't first of all, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's not true. I do know with his last brother Tamani, I know for a fact that had nothing to do with his other brother Ronnie. That had nothing to do. That was way before he was ever even signed to a deal. I think with Tadarius TD was up under him a lot. He really admired his brother. Okay. I think TD wanted to, it was signed to him. He had a talent, and I think they were the closest because they traveled together. I don't know what happened with that. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as his family is concerned, it had nothing to do with the situation that happened with young Dolph. Okay. At least that's what they were told. Listen, I heard Youngster's mother say this with my own ears. Okay, it's a lot of stuff I don't talk about, but that's why I stand firm. When that stuff happened to young Dolph, if that had, if it had, if she would have, if she felt like young Dolph had anything to do with her child, I ain't gonna say children, because the other ones, the first one and the last one, I know for a fact had nothing to do with the young Dolph situation. With Darius, I don't think that had anything to do with the situation. Okay, with young Dolph situation, I think it was an unfortunate situation where something happened. Um, but I don't think it had anything to do with young Dolph. As she says, I don't really know. And see, I don't think she knows the she knew the foundation of it, because she was like, it's just music. She said, first of all, Pig really admired him. He liked what the dude was doing. She was like, he's never done anything to Pig. She said, I asked my son. He said, Dolph ain't never did nothing to me. It's just rap. Okay. Now, it probably was like that in the very beginning. Okay. I don't think that Sammy or Youngster knew the depths of how far God was going to push him, because it went from something fun to him just hating Dolph for no reason. And I think God, it was pushing him to hate him. He didn't know why this energy was being pushed on him, although he is a grown man, right? He's a grown man. He should have pushed back, okay? And now he's left with this emptiness, and it's going to be some reckoning as it relates to that, as soon as there can be. Okay, as soon as there can be, because he's definitely up under the radar and always have been, right? And so what I think Youngster needs to do is he needs to repent, repent and ask God to give him the strength to handle, right, whatever comes before him. And I know people be wanting me to go hard on Youngster. Let me tell you something. I could go hard on him, but at the same time, like, I do, like, I mess with some of his family members the long way, have been for 40 years. So that's just like, Vanessa and them like family to me, like a lot of his cousins and stuff. I've been to every funeral that they had, because as a little girl, we grew up. She been my best friend since I was 5 years old. One of my first friends that I can remember in the kindergarten, growing up in the projects together in Clementine. Like, that's history, right? And so when you hear her say, hey, look, did blah blah blah, but hey, I love my cousin. I'm a rock with him the long way. But hey, they understand that he was looking for a father figure, but he didn't understand what love was, because if so, somebody don't dangle money over your head and then turn around, have you to step out and destroy your life and have you in the conditions that you are mentally right now. So a person can get out on stage and do a performance tomorrow. Yeah, that's a facade. Youngster out on stage, this that he well, that's a facade. But the people around him really know what it is, and it ain't it is what it is as it relates to that. So, and it's very unfortunate. It's very, very unfortunate. So he looks depressed, and I do believe that he is depressed. And hey, she took that on. She did the best she can. And so God was trying to put Youngster in a position to be able to really just repay his grandmother back, because I saw all the hardships that the family went through growing up in Fowler homes, Foots homes, and all that. It seemed like we was going to a relatives growing up. Vanessa would call me Terry was killed. What? Yeah, Terry was killed because they trying to, when the Fila boots first came out, y'all know how old that is, and somebody over they was living in the Foots homes, and they wanted, that's when they was taking Fila boots. Take your boots off. Terry wouldn't take them off. Him and the dude fight. The dude stabbed him. Okay, a little cut, but it was right up on his heart. Okay, killing, right? Other situations, even before Youngster was ever even born. So, with the curses that have been on their family, it really bothers me that, it seems like to me God would try to take them out of a dry bones place, right? And breathe life into somebody from that lineage. And he didn't have the mind, right, to recognize and decipher what was really going on. And unfortunately, he's consistently made bad decisions. He's got to pay for how he taunted young Dolph's family after young Dolph was killed. I think that Youngster was made to believe that when TD was killed, that Dolph and Key Glock were making fun of him. I think he was made to believe that. I don't think that's what it was. Okay. And, just brewing hate, manipulation, so that they could build up to Gotti taking Dolph out without getting his hands dirty, but the whole time breathing it back on, putting everything on Blac Youngsta and them, who's gonna at some point gonna have to answer to some of this stuff. But I mean, the government won't Gotti ass, okay? The government wants his ass, and so now we see Taco the Goon. Now I saw Taco, that's his name, Taco the Goon. I saw Taco the Goon on with J90 on, I believe it was, I forget the guy name because I like the guy. He used to do all Rich Lord videos. The dude is bad to the bone. He was doing the darn thing even back then, because Rich Lord videos was top quality. What's his name? He have a show to come on now. Is it in the room, in the couch, or on the couch or something? He's a videographer. But he's got a show where he be interviewing folks. They be going over there sitting on this rapping and all of that. And I was really impressed. And I was impressed for him to say, I got kids. I ain't want to do I ain't I ain't want to be doing that street stuff. So he was smart enough to know that I ain't no telling what they try to get him to do, but he was wise enough to understand he want to be out with his children. Well, I was looking at Taco the Goon. I'm trying to pull this up, okay? Taco the Goon, and I just happened to come across that Taco the Goon, okay? And Taco the Goon looks healthy. He doesn't look like he's on drugs. He was talented, okay? He was really talented, and when they rapped, I was like, yeah, I think they got up and rapped. I was like, that brother is extreme. Okay, now let me hold on. Let me pull this up. Okay, because you look at him, I could tell when they own some. Okay, now he could be fooling me, but he looks healthy. He don't look like he own nothing. Okay, because if he did, I'd say it. All right.
Pop me a 15, hoping I ain't fake. For them goons trying to
Oh Lord, what's a 15? Lord, please don't let me be popping pills.
make a way. Street sweeper broom to the face. I'm chasing a chick. We can go rack for rack. We can go stack for stack. I'm head honcho. 2G, nothing else. We can go hat for hat. Smoking dead ops every day of the week. Who looking for me? I got no ops. I heard I got ops. I walk outside. They know where to be. Have you ever seen a nigga 3-5, a whole P, remix exotic with OG? We eyeball dope like dope B. We shot shit like dope B.
Something to get on my nerve. All right. See, when I have video up, it'll start for some reason. It'll start sticking, and um, it just started messing up real bad for some reason. Okay, now y'all saw Taco the Goon. Okay, now he's got on CMG shirt and all of that. Now, hey, listen, I ain't got no issues with him sounding with CMG if that's what it is, or representing CMG. But I mean, these dudes should see after what has happened. These brothers seem to have had their head on straight, okay? After all the stuff that has happened in the past of CMG using people, throwing them out there. Now, Taco the Goon them are out in the street, okay? Um, and God intends to get these dudes that's out in the street, that's talented, that's got street creds, that's still out here, allegedly still pulling that thing, right? The thing about it is, I don't think it's a wise decision, even if whether it's true or not. Because the only thing that the Taco the Goon can do is bring the feds to his door quicker, dealing with them, and then they'll feed him to the wolves because they look at people like him as being nothing. Now, you see all of the other artists, okay, why, you know, he saw what Black Youngsta did to these dudes are so deprived of love from a fatherly love. He finesse them a little bit, and they sign a record deal. He give them a little bit of money, and they think he's helping me to feed my family. when actually, I mean, he's doing to them. I just did finish doing an essay on this in my history class, but the Indians stood strong with the Anglo-Saxons tried to do to the Indians. Okay, finesse them out of their land. Okay, what the government tried to do to the Indians. Okay, and he's learned those sharky practices. Okay, and he's trying to continue that. And for some reason, these young men, I mean, I wouldn't want to be near CMG. Okay. Especially not with all the stuff that's going on with them as it relates to the feds, okay? Because they're gonna get that if they can't get him, they're gonna try to get him, okay? At some point, they're gonna strike. And I do hope that Taco the Goon and them are not crazy enough to feel like, well, if I do something, God is gonna pay for my lawyers. No, the Fed's gonna hide y'all. Okay. I don't care what kind of lawyers you bring in. Ain't no lawyers gonna be able to come in and do what Manny did, okay, ever again ever again. Okay. And then y'all going straight to the Fed. So you're not going to be in the state courts anyways. And what they're going to do is they're going to fold you up real, real bad. Okay. Like fold you up, like put you in an envelope and ship you away in that order. Okay. For a real long time with no return address. That's what they planning on doing. So I hope these brothers can stay. What they need to do is stay consistent to their talent, right? And not sign away their life and their children's legacy, what they could leave for their children for a quick check. Okay. Go work at the McDonald's until you can come up on something, but don't let somebody send you out to do their dirt. Gotta already know the folks watching him. Okay. That's the reason why him and he be trying to go all get on see. I guess they feel like they can't hear him. Okay, that this stuff is going on with Youngster, but as they say, Youngster made his bed. Okay, he made his bed and he got to lay in it. Okay, he's got to lay in his bed. And he needs to lay in it like a man. Okay, he gonna have to lay down like a man when this stuff finally hits the fan. And so folks say, well, that stuff is over. Okay, is it? Tell them how they know it's over. Well, Carl Hagerman had said. Okay, so Hagerman, yeah, you talk about Hagerman was over Cornelius' case, and Hagerman was over Straight Drops case. So yeah, those cases are closed. Hagerman can't tell you if another investigation going on because all he know is when it's over, they go to the DA and say, "Can we get an indictment?" But I don't think I don't think they're going back to the state DA on nothing as it relates. It, the what it says the revolution won't be. Listen, nothing in the feds is televised. Okay, so they don't show it on TV. They don't allow cameras on there. So this next go round, the revolution won't be televised. Okay, so it won't even be in that court. So you see, it Go Man had a state case and now he's in federal court. Is he in that court? The revolution won't be televised this time. So these young men better open their eyes. It's better to have freedom and have the opportunity to turn your life around than to want to represent something that's an illusion, anyways, with folks sending you out. Okay, because that's all that it is. And then you locked away from life and you talk about he gonna take care of my family. What good are you to your damn kids locked up? Okay, you a damn fool. Okay. These young men better open their darn eyes. It ain't worth going away from your kids to be sent out. Hell, you talk about you repping CMG. Why don't your guy to get out there and do that for his own damn label, knocking folks down? Hell, it's supposedly his label. How come he ain't out there doing it? No, he go and get weak minded people to get out there and do it. Okay, but hey, I hope these young brothers open their eyes. But anyways, I want you all to please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to support the channel, you could definitely support the channel via Cash App.